Hi, I'm Asia Hankins. I'm known as the Queen of Liquid Facelift. A liquid facelift is taking dermal fillers like your Restylane, your Juvederm, and your Radius, and you're doing volume restoration, you're giving vertical lift, you're supporting the skin, jawline strengthening. Today though, I'm really excited because I'm going to show you a technique that I've been working on for the last 15 years. I've really refined this technique in the last 10 years. I've done thousands of these, and that's an under eye and cheek restoration. I'm going to be working in the tear trough, a very delicate area, and also supporting it in the cheeks. So the first step, go ahead and close your eyes. Alcohol prepped. You can see it's a little pink just from the numbing. So the first step here, here's a little poke. Good. Focus on your breathing. I'm going in there with a medium dense filler. This is Restylane Defyne, and I'm going to restore this malar fat pad. You'll be able to feel, you might be able to hear that little crackling, gurgling noise. The model doesn't have a tremendous amount of volume loss in the cheeks, so I don't need to go too crazy, but just to fill that little support in. Right there by a nerve. So we need to be mindful of that. I'm staying away from the periosteum, down to the bone. I'm going to stay away from that because I don't want to be near that infraorbital foramen there. There's still a little bit of volume loss right there, so I'm going to go ahead and put a tiny bit more right there. I can fill that hole. All right, here's another little poke. Good. This is a pretty tolerable procedure because the numbing we use is really good. All right, so just a little bit more there. Really good. Now that the cheek restoration is done, and that was pretty easy because he does have some good volume here, so I wasn't trying to augment it, I was just trying to put in a little support. I'm trying to get that support underneath that orbital ridge and that retaining ligament to hold things up. All right, so now my next technique is to go underneath the little thin muscle around the eyes in that retaining ligament to soften out that transition. All right, so here we go. Stay nice and still, focus on your breathing. And here's a poke. So I'm taking that technique slow, pull back, and just gonna pop in just a little bit of this Classic Restylane now. Feeling that go in. Injecting the product as I'm advancing back, so retrograde. Now I'm gonna hold pressure. I want to make sure if there's anything bleeding, I want to stop that so he doesn't have a bruise. I'm also going to check to feel that. That feels good. All right, now I'm going to continue along this orbital ridge. He was bleeding just a little bit, so I wanted to get that to stop before we continued. Here we go. Same technique. Going under the muscle, along the periosteum. Doing a little safety check and drop in just a tiny little bit of product. As I'm pushing the product, I'm pulling back. It's a retrograde injection. It's already looking amazing. Super excited when we do these. All right, now again, I'm going to come in a little bit more medial. Here's a poke. Okay, there's the retaining ligament there off the tear trough. You can see that. So I'm within this ligament. I'm using it as a little support for this filler. Most important part of this technique is first starting off with a little cheek restoration, holding that up. So then when I do go under the eyes, I don't have to put as much product under there. All right, now I'm just holding a little bit more pressure. That is a half a syringe of Defyne and a half a syringe of Classic Restylane on this side. Everything looks and feels good. Skin looks good. All right. Great, and go ahead and open up your eyes. And how does everything feel? Your eye can feel a little numb from the injection. Does everything feel good?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels a little numb.
Yeah. That's kind of a good thing, actually, huh? We're getting poked. All right, that looks really good. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and start on his other side. All right, so I want to show on camera, here's that little indent. This is the malar fat pad, and so there's a little sinking in there. And when this sinks in, it's lacking the support for under the eyes. So by filling that in, it's going to help to support up that retaining ligament. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and have you close your eyes. You're doing fantastic. Taking this Restylane Defyne, here's a poke. Going down to the bottom of where that volume loss is. We're filling this in. I'm avoiding closer to the nose in this retaining ligament. There's supposed to be a hole there, so we're not going to fill that in. But really coming where this true malar fat pad is. And depending on the depth of the malar, really determines what kind of filler I'm going to use, whether it's a thicker or a thinner filler. In this particular case, this Restylane Defyne, I really like this one because it's really predictable. It's going to help fill this in, but not be too thick. It'll attract some water, but not too much water, so it's kind of the best of the best. Okay, I can still feel a little hole right there, so I'm going to pop that up there a little bit. Okay, now we're going to hold that. All right, now there's a little hole right here. I'm going to just give a little bit more support to that. Here's a poke. There we go. I'm below this little malar prominence because I don't want to take the filler into that and have that clog the lymph system, so I am below that. Now, I'm going to switch products again. I'm going to go with that Classic Restylane. Last step here, feeling for where that hole is. I'm on the bone. I know I'm above that orbital retaining ligament there. So now I just want to sit this little filler right there in that little kind of hammock structure. It's got the support below. All right, great. I see a vessel there, so I'm going to go below that. Stay nice and still. Here's a poke. So I do prefer using needles over cannulas. This is a 1/2 inch needle, 27 gauge. I like it for the precision. I need to know the exact depth. I need to know that I'm under the muscle. I don't want to use something that's too long that could snake into the corner and hit up into an artery or a tear duct. And with a cannula, I'd have to take it way far out lateral to get that to advance in. And so I've always liked needles my whole career and had great success with them. But even more important around the eye, because the skin around the eye is so delicate, it's the thinnest skin on our body. We want to get in, get out, and be done. I don't want to be digging around trying to advance a cannula under there. So that is those are the reasons why I love a needle, particularly in this area. Okay, here's another poke. So I can feel the depth where that I'm at, 1/2 inch. Do an extra little safety check. Aspiration is a good safety check, but I'm also looking at the skin. I'm monitoring the patient, making sure I'm not seeing any blanching. The patient has been advised to let me know if he feels anything electrical or any intense burning. We're almost done. That looks good. Now just a tiny bit more right there. His skin's a little pink. He got pink after we put the numbing cream on it, but that'll go away soon. All right, one more little poke here. Here it is. And I know anatomically that there's a vessel right there, so I'm going to go below it. Good. This will take 3 weeks to yield the final result. There'll be some swelling, a little bit of redness, possibly some mild bruising. Patient's been instructed to avoid the vitamins and aspirin containing products for a few more days. Drink water. Fillers love hydration. And then we will bring them back in 3 weeks to see the final results. All right. You can go ahead and open up your eyes. Again, it might feel a little numb. That looks really good. And even this side's already calmed down a little bit. Beautiful. That's made a big difference. Does that feel kind of weird? Is it kind of numb?
It's fine now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a little bit numb though, huh?
A little bit. It's more on this side, but
yeah.
Just
it takes about 10 minutes for that to go away, that little numbing, and this side may feel like it's numb, but everything looks fabulous. Wait till you see it. Okay? Thank you.